What's going on, everybody? It is Cam here with Easy Work Acres. Today we are going to talk about 6 different reasons that your chickens are not laying or have ceased to lay when they were laying before. So let's get into it. Very first reason your chickens are not laying or have stopped laying is their age. So first off, your chickens need to be at least 16 to 20 weeks old before they get to laying age. So if they are not old enough, then they're not going to begin laying. So if you are getting chickens that are already grown out before, like you didn't raise them from chicks, or you raised them from chicks, but you feel like they're old enough, count out the weeks from the time that they hatch, as well as make sure that you ask the person that you buy your chickens from how old they are to begin with, because they need to be in that 16 to 20 week range before they even begin laying their very first eggs. And at that point, they're just beginning, so it's not going to be extremely frequent. Now, on the flip side, your chickens could be too old. After the age of about 2 years old, their egg production starts to decrease. Most of the time, it doesn't come to a halt immediately. It's a slow trickle down over a couple years, maybe a couple months. It all depends on the breed on that, but after 2 years is when egg production slows down. Reason number 2, your chickens may not be laying right now is insufficient diet needs. So this one can actually be more common than it thinks, but there's 2 ways that you can figure out if this is the issue. One is just a general look at your chicken. If you feel like the chicken's combs or wattles are looking not so bright red anymore, they're like getting lighter colored, leaning more towards graying out or anything like that, that's one way to say that they're not getting the nutrients they need. 2 could be simply being underweight. So a good way to check for if a chicken is underweight, one, sometimes you can just simply see it. If you can't really tell because you have a breed that is a fluffier breed, they have a lot of feathers, then you can pick the chicken up and feel around the breast area. So the breastbone will protrude out quite a lot. It'll feel very pointy, and there's not a lot of breast meat there. So be checking for that. That's a good indicator that your chickens are not getting the nutritional needs that they need in their diet. Moving on to reason number 3, your chickens are not laying is sickness, illness, or parasites. So this can be actually pretty common. Chickens get sick just like anybody else. They're hardy animals, but it does happen. So some of the common issues that you can see in chickens is them being egg bound, where their eggs simply will not exit the vent. And if that happens, it can be detrimental to the chicken's life. They can die very quickly if that's not taken care of. So take the steps to taking care of that. That is a whole different topic that would require a whole nother video to kind of go over. There is vent gleat, so that you can indicate that if they have like a really poopy butt or something like that, and it just like they simply look sick on the rear end. You got to clean it up and everything. That will cause them to stop laying. A parasite specific one that's very, very common among coops is the leg mites. So you can be looking for like scaly legs or anything like that, where the scales on their legs are starting to get raised up. Good indicators that your chickens are sick is odd behaviors. Like if you see like a chicken that is just not hanging with the flock, it's just randomly walking around by itself and it just looks lost. Like when I say lost, like it looks lost. It's like kind of like it doesn't know where it's at kind of deal. As well as like odd, like off balance. They don't seem like they can stand upright on their own and all kinds of different stuff. So there's a lot of very like stand out things you can see in a chicken to know that it is sick. And some of those symptoms, you can just research those symptoms and it will tell you the different things that those symptoms relate to as far as your chicken being sick, and you can take care of it from there. Most chicken illnesses can be taken care of. There are some that are just inevitable and they're going to sick and possibly die, which really sucks. It does happen. But most of them are treatable. So if you catch it early enough, take the steps to getting that chicken taken care of. Reason number 4, your chickens are not laying. They're stressed out. Chickens get stressed out. So there are multiple things that could stress your chickens out that could cause them to not lay. Number 1 could be just simply when you buy your chickens. So if you have chickens that are already laying eggs that you're buying from somebody else, the stress of them just being moved from their place to your farm could be enough stress to not make them want to lay at first. So if you are just a week or 2 into some new chickens that you just bought from somebody, then give them some time. They'll likely start laying. 2 is pecking order. There could be a lot of battling going on in the flock. When that comes to an end, they can start laying. If you find that there are certain chickens that are just like crappy and they just are pecking at all your other birds and stuff like that, it might be worth it to get rid of the chicken depending on how misbehaved it is. A lot of times this is more common in roosters doing that to your hens, which leads me to also overmating. overmating can cause your hens to not lay. They're getting stressed out. They're constantly getting, smashed on top of by another rooster. And they're just constantly running for their lives from a rooster all day long. And then you have predators. Predators can really be detrimental. This is something we've experienced before, is if you have a predator that continues to come back and it's working and working and working at your coop, trying to get in all the time, or say it does get in and then you secure the coop and it keeps coming back for a while, it can get your chickens to stop laying. They can be stressed out if they don't feel like they're in a safe and secure environment. So making sure that your coop is well secured and you are paying attention to if you have a regular predator that is returning, because you may need to trap it and get rid of it in order to get your chickens to not only be safe, but start laying again, not be stressed out that this same predator keeps coming back every single night and stressing them out. One more stressor that I forgot to mention is extreme temperatures. Extremely hot, extremely cold can also affect your chickens. We haven't really experienced this too much. We've had extremely hot days and extremely cold days, and they've laid on both, but we have a large flock. So some of our chickens probably aren't laying, then others are. So it all depends, again, on the breed, how well they handle temperatures and things like that. Reason number 5, your chickens are molting. So if you notice that your chickens are losing a lot of feathers, or you notice that your chickens already have a lot of feathers gone and they have a lot of feathers growing back, that usually means that they are not in a time where they can lay. They are shedding their feathers, whether it be their summer or winter feathers. They molt 1 to 2 times a year in order to, re-up their feathers for whatever season it is. And during that time, they are very susceptible to getting sick, getting pecked at by their chickens and things like that. So it puts them on not only hormonal changes going on, but it puts them under a lot of stress. So that could be another reason that your chickens are not laying. And reason number 6, and probably the most common reason why your hens have stopped laying, is because of the daytime length. Your chickens require so much daylight in order to lay their eggs. The minimum amount of daylight that chickens need to lay eggs is about 14 hours. I think the optimal amount of time is 16 hours of daylight. That's when they reach their peak of laying, is when they're getting 16 hours of daylight. So as the seasons change, the days get shorter and it drops below that 14 hours of daylight, then your chickens will cease to lay, or at least lay at a much lower rate. Again, in a situation with us where we have a whole lot of hens out there, you're going to have some hens that lay fine even with less light, and then you have some hens that don't lay at all when there's less light. So it is good to give your chickens a break through the winter whenever the days get short. It's usually only a month or two that you will see either a complete drop off or at least some decrease, and then it'll start picking back up as the days start getting longer. You could light your chickens, like put them under artificial light for periods of time and stuff like that. But I still recommend at least giving them a month or 2 out of the year to take a break if you do plan on supplementing with artificial light to keep them laying, because it's good for your chickens to take a break and just literally be alive and eat and sleep and poop. Bonus reason why your chickens aren't laying. It's a rooster. Make sure your chicken's not a rooster. So hens are the only ones that lay. So if you got a rooster, it ain't laying. But that is all I got for you today. Hopefully this was helpful for you, and maybe this can help you pinpoint one of the reasons your chickens are not laying right now. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments. Again, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.